I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us. We might not be the ones, but let's not be selfish, and because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change it.
Nah.
You know, if I keep talking about how dirty it is out here, somebody gonna clean it up.
Let me see. As said earlier, the situation happened because of you disrespecting the people that are interested in that hentai stuff that simply need help to strengthen their brain development. And that will be done through all the series being built up. Because I really have to think about a solution. I can't just blame these people. That's like you just blaming a crack addict. Is that gonna stop? The person was not a crack addict. You cannot blame the person. You can't blame them. So who do you actually have to blame? What legal power moves do you have to make so that incoming souls do not become addicted and their development stagnated? Huh? So while I am thinking about actual solutions, can you explain to the viewers what that particular person was ignorantly thinking?
Yeah, I mean, she made it pretty clear. I mean, she just jumped to conclusions, right? What else can be said about the situation? But, I mean, it's really unusual because this has been a co-worker for at least a year or around a year, whatever the case.
Exactly.
And I mean, it's funny. It is actually funny because there was a line I did place in one of those chapter documents where I actually explicitly stated, "Oh, we're not going to be on that fan service nonsense." Like, if you go back to one of those docs, like, I literally put that.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
it's like she's getting it from both of us. So it's really, I just don't know what happened to her brain.
To get the full picture, get the higher perspective. So I'm all about constructive psychology. And I've said this before, and I'm putting it on the screen. All psychology has existed all at once. And with that said, it's all about the level of awareness. So let's jump right back into this. I've spent thousands of dollars, and you can see that. I've been paying you, so you can't question when I'm literally showing you the reasoning for everything I do and how that is to help minds be liberated out of those lower states of thought so those minds won't be preyed on. To those that have produced hentai blindly, who do you think they answer to? The fact that they're damaging brain development and attempting to desperately keep souls underdeveloped while not looking at the damages, yet want to say they're innocent? Think about that. Like, really, and that's one of the points. Before I continue, how many companies are out there with grown ass underdeveloped adults, just underdeveloped souls, spending hours making hentai? We talked about this before.
Yeah.
We talked about this before.
We did.
Bro. How can I can make all the beautiful content I want to make, but if the minds that I want to help the most are not going to be gravitated towards that, how do I catch them? How do I get them to then go to the other content? Do I not have to go a controversial route to make the issue be discussed?
Unfortunately,
To make the issue be discussed.
right.
I can't help those minds unless I make a hentai manga that will allow the minds that are attracted to that to then find all the series I'm building up that do not have hentai. When it comes to the corrupt side of animation and who they answer to, do you think they care about stagnating souls? About damaging vulnerable minds and vulnerable souls arriving on the planet? Do you think they care? Do you think they care about the propaganda? Do you think they just care? Do they just care about desperately holding on to power they've been misusing? Because they're energetic parasites. Depending on how much awareness you have in regards to planetary history and navigational patterns will determine if you're able to comprehend what's being said here and how it applies to you. Not a single humanoid species is to be blamed, not a single group. So you have to see who are the corrupted souls giving humanoid species and groups a bad name and see who all those corrupted souls answer to. When it comes to making one hentai manga, that's a project I'm using to bring those carnal minds in so they can then go about finding all the thought-provoking series that will help brain development. What I'm doing is literal constructive psychology. Bro, 2008. If you go to the volume 1 of the Takumi series, 2008 to 2018. For the 2018, anyone can go to the 2018 volume 1 Takumi series. In the dedication, what did I put? Do you recall what I put, bro?
I think you mentioned something about abuse, and then you placed a phone number for people to get help.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm consistent. I'm extremely consistent. So my thing is, people that don't have the full picture should not talk until they have the full picture. Because you wouldn't like someone else blabbering about you unless the person has the complete picture. I'm someone who I know every step I take and why I take it. I don't make a move unless I know the reaction I'm gonna get. I'm like advanced anime timeline Aaron. I know what moves is gonna happen, and I know your reaction. So I knew this was gonna be her reaction. I knew this was, but this is why I did it, so I can record this and go about placing this as a disclaimer for anyone that ends up encountering one of those. If I make when I make that one hentai manga, anyone that encounters it, when you go through that and then you go to the other series, you will get help. Those series help their brain development. And if I'm making the choice, I'm someone that dislikes that nonsense, and I'm making the choice to try to help those people, why the fuck is she trying to judge? That's how much I am willing to help people out there. People in lower states of thought that I am not in those lower states of thought. Even in the music I make. Bro, how many times have I made music that I don't associate with that state of thought? But in order to lure a person that has that state of thought, you have to make that content so that then they can find the other content that's gonna lead towards their higher perspective, their development. And this is where the issue comes in shit stains that do nothing for themselves or others, trying to judge something they shouldn't even be judging because we look at you, you're not doing nothing. So you're over here misunderstanding, and that's the nastiest problem. When you have someone that isn't even building anything significant out here misunderstanding and trying to give a false illusion of someone who's actually putting a constructive use with so many materials and putting something to use for souls to find and then use. Look at it. I mean, look at it. Whether it's in music, whether it's in writing, what do I always do?
Yeah. Constructive.
Think about the experiences. Think about who the people I've been. Bro, if I lost a female friend who was a beautiful friend and family to me because of child abuse, that sexual garbage, why would I be interested in hentai? Why would I be interested? Why would I be lustful? What are you talking? I have discipline. Excuse you? It's nasty that she said that. It really is. But I gave her an ultimatum. You get what I mean? But this is what we talk about. When we talk about cases like that one guy, there was this guy recently, his wife accused him of beating her, and then it turns out she was the one doing the beating. I forgot his name. Let me put it right here.
Yeah, I heard about it as well. You're talking about Johnny Depp, right?
Yeah, Johnny Depp. Exactly. Females are very nasty. And this is the thing with Fiona. This is why I told her to think for herself. In the thing I sent, I told her to think for herself. Because there's too much that someone else can talk about ignorantly if they don't know the situation. But you know the situation. And you know why I told you that's a consequence. I'm not interested in you drawing yourself getting smashed. But that's going to be the consequence you're going to have to do. Because you's out here talking reckless. You want to disrespect all those people? I'm going to disrespect the fuck out of you. Excuse my language. I'm going to disrespect you to just 1,000. 1,000. I essentially told her what a lot of people in New York say. What do you like to say when someone tries to disrespect you? Suck my what? Suck my what? Suck my what? In New York, you disrespect. What are they gonna say? Suck my what? Huh? Suck my.
Ligma. Ligma, what you ask? Ligma balls. Sugma. Sugma what? Sugma dick.
What? Huh? She wanted to disrespect all those people going through those problems. And by the way, I have books on this. I have books on the trauma, and I've been showing youth, young adults the books, and the problem of people having their minds over sexualized. So if I have a whole book talking about over sexualization, why like what? You want to what? You know, people that talk reckless get are the perfect examples. Get turned into perfect examples for others to then see and see those. Like the Johnny Depp. Look at that. Dude wasn't even beating her. He gave her $1 million. You know what I mean? $1 million. And he wasn't even beating her. I don't even know how bro went about giving her $1 million. And he knows within his mind that he didn't even beat her. So why would he give $1 million to her, bro? That poor guy was had his mind just so deteriorated that he gave her $1 million, knowing that he never even beat her.
Yeah, I mean, it's because of society. Society these days believes, the first, you know what they say, believe women every time they say that they got, like, it's been 5 years, I think they said, on this case. It took them 5 years to finally realize that he's actually innocent. So
there was also blaming that one guy, Bill Cosby, that he was touching kids. Guess what happened? He was not touching kids, and they just released him. They was lying on his name. They was lying on his name. Who is they though? But my thing is this. So let's go back to this. I'm someone who I don't allow anyone to slander my character. I explain to you the reason why you are to do this. You cannot say something that is not my character. You've been working with me for a whole year, safe for work content. But you wanted to talk your lips. You want to flap your lips and talk about, oh, you made a half-naked character for a promotion? B-word. You know very well what are the minds that we are aiming to help. So if I have to help those minds, the ones that be into high school DxD, all this stuff, having their brains deteriorated, if I can make that simple thing to have them find the content, one of the series we are working on, so then they can receive help and their brains can be properly developed, of course I'm gonna do it. B-word. Man, if the B, because I'm not gonna say the whole word. If the B knew what high school DxD was, who knows what the B will do? Like it seems like the B has never seen what the actual demons are on. You get what I mean? What the actual so this is where you talk about how to address the issue. You get what I mean? I'm gonna read exactly what I sent to fucking Parasite. I'm gonna read to you exactly what I sent to that fucking Parasite, bro. I have too many responsibilities to deal with your misconception. There's too much you're not seeing unless you read, especially since it applies to the person that has been paying you for professional work for an entire year. And right now, above professionalism, you're not being a well-developed adult unless you're able to listen. You not reading not only shows ignorance, but also shows your inability to have an open heart that listens to others. And if you're unable to listen, that makes you the very problem that you can't cry about when someone doesn't listen to you. What is some scumbag doing to contribute to the betterment of the planet? The one you're having relations with is doing nothing to contribute to the betterment of the planet. That's true. I've spent thousands of dollars and you can see that. I've been paying you so you can't question when I'm literally showing you the reasoning for everything I do and how that is to help minds be liberated out of those lower states of thought so those minds won't be preyed on. To those that have produced hentai blindly, who do you think they answer to? The fact that they're damaging brain development and attempting to desperately keep souls underdeveloped while not looking at the damages, yet want to say they're innocent. Think about that. Like really, and that's one of the points. Before I continue, how many companies are out there with grown ass underdeveloped adults, just underdeveloped souls, spending hours making hentai? We talked about this before.
Yeah,
We talked about this.
we did.
Bro,
Yeah.
bro. How can I can make all the beautiful content I want to make, but if the minds that I want to help the most are not going to be gravitated towards that, how do I catch them? How do I get them to then go to the other content? Do I not have to go a controversial route to make the issue be discussed?
Unfortunately,
To make the issue be discussed.
right.
I can't help those minds unless I make a hentai manga that will allow the minds that are attracted to that to then find all the series I'm building up that do not have hentai. When it comes to the corrupt side of animation and who they answer to, do you think they care about stagnating souls? About damaging vulnerable minds and vulnerable souls arriving on the planet? Do you think they care? Do you think they care about the propaganda? Do you think they just care? Do they just care about desperately holding on to power they've been misusing? Because they're energetic parasites. Depending on how much awareness you have in regards to planetary history and navigational patterns will determine if you're able to comprehend what's being said here and how it applies to you. Not a single humanoid species is to be blamed, not a single group, so you have to see who are the corrupted souls giving humanoid species and groups a bad name, and see who all those corrupted souls answer to. When it comes to making one hentai manga, that's a project I'm using to bring those carnal minds in so they can then go about finding all the thought-provoking series that will help brain development. What I'm doing is literal constructive psychology. People that don't have the full picture should not talk until they have the full picture. That is the reason why that was made. And what were you going to say, brother?
Oh yeah. I was gonna say that is one of the biggest causes of certain problems is that people talk without getting the full picture, right? And we see that in many different kinds of things. So, and we even had an example right just a few minutes ago with the whole Johnny Depp situation. What did people say at the beginning? The first moment he was accused, everybody was on him. Everybody's like, oh, nah, make sure he's never in another movie again, blah, blah, this and that. And now, now they're switching up. Now that they have the information.
Why would they even want him in a hypnotic slave device in silly moves that have never been a solution and we know who makes those scripts? I would not want to go to a movie if I know who's the one writing the script and how limited that entity is. And that's just, I'm not going to say anything else in regards to that. Those that want to enjoy it, they can go enjoy it. Whenever I look after the children with my job, their families and the children themselves, they love all sorts of movies. So again, it is what it is. People can go at their own pace, develop. I'm not going to say anything else in regards to that. But everything I do.
I don't even know what movies he does and any of that. But I'm just saying, like in terms of what other people was out here saying.
Exactly. So everything I do, and I want to say that this is that one video where I'm making it clear. I'm saving it here, and I'm referring anyone that wants a full picture or taps into some of this information to get the full picture, get the higher perspective. So I'm all about constructive psychology. And I've said this before, and I'm putting it on the screen. All psychology has existed all at once. And with that said, it's all about the level of awareness. So let's jump right back into this. Why would you wrongfully judge and offend me? I'm gonna continue reading that was the question I had, right? And I went on to say this. You've seen my writing when it has no NSFW. You've seen my writing for one whole year. So you can't get upset that I have to help people that are attracted to lower states of thought because those are the people that need the most help. And just because you might not have a strong enough heart to see they can't be blamed, I see that they just need some constructive help. And as the document said at the beginning, don't take it out of context. Everything written was written in a way to obviously allow you to visualize. If I already told you in one NSW piece, you're not supposed to even read past that line because you already got the warning at the beginning of the doc. So and this is addressing when she was blindly saying, "Oh, you sent me blah blah blah," and without consent. Bitch, you had consent. Bitch, the moment you opened that document, there was consent. You already knew what you was going into, and I already told you what it was and what you was going to have to get down to doing because you wanted to disrespect everyone that's going through those problems. And you got to see the factors, the corrupt interconnections, and how that's been damaging souls. I'm not going to allow you to offend. I'm not. So she wasn't even supposed to click on that, and that has nothing to do with the whole situation that we was dealing with in regards to her the designer taking 3 months to finish one episode. We even accommodated and went about paying the designer more so that the designer could be comfortable enough to complete it while having something to eat and to save, right? So this designer, when we first gave the first contract, we had given the designer 500 to 700 depending on how much the chapters had. And this prologue chapter had a lot of content, but it was supposed to be done within a month. And we even accommodated for the designer who couldn't even log into Clip Studio. I went out of pocket, helped. Any situation I had helped. A whole year working together, where a person is supposed to get to know you because they're reading all the. You know how many of those chapters that person had to read? So how are you blindly attempting to slander someone when I just gave you the exact reason? No strings, just straight to the point. Showed you everything, the reason why. So if you comprehend the reason why, at that point, what are you doing if you just blindly try to say what? Excuse you? It makes no sense. And this is what I have to accept the fact that some people are just parasites. That's all I can say. They're just they only see what they want to see. And you can have the higher perspective dangling above them. But if it does not benefit their agenda or their false perception of you, they're going to keep trying to hold you to an image that you're not. And that's the problem. Like with that whore-ass parasite. Like with that parasite that tried to slander Johnny Depp. Trying to put a false image onto who he is. This is the same thing that was happening to XXXTentacion. The same thing that was happening to Michael Jackson. The same thing that was happening to Kurt Cobain. Same thing that's happened to how many people? No one out there, you the listener, you would not like someone to slander you. If you are about discipline and you know your character, you would not want anyone to slander you. So keep that in mind. Have a heart. If you are developed enough, you comprehend what's being said. So, continuing through this. The thing is, scumbag. If you listen to a scumbag that has no information regarding the actual situation, the scumbag's going to mislead. And so this is why I explicitly told her to think for herself. And if she fails to do so, she's going to suffer the consequences that have been placed. So with that said, thinking back, when I initially went about making the promotions, and I only made one promotion that was slightly NSFW to lure those minds. No, I actually did one before that. Remember the one where Takumi was going to kiss Hanami or whatever the case may be? And I put a song with that. I placed that one. Some people went, and then they was able to get through some of the content. An example, some of the content. And I mean, we barely scratched the surface, which with all the valuable information that is within the series, we have barely scratched the surface. But even at the beginning chapters with Hanami, When Rios told Hanami asked him, "Oh, have you ever lost someone?" And then Rios was like, "Oh, we all eventually lose someone. It's more about the context of how it happens, etc." That right there is a powerful line, some powerful lines that connect with everyone. And there's just so much beautiful content within this series and everything that's being worked on that is made specifically to help brain development, to help souls. Just like Isayama once said that his series, he feels like he completed the purpose of his life with that series. Same thing. I'm out here pouring everything. Whole year paying thousands of dollars, just thousands, more than $10,000. Out here on this project, not making a single dime. Yet she wants to do what? She wants to blindly call me a what? What? Excuse you? Did no one teach you that you don't judge a book by its cover, number one, but also you should know better. You've seen what I've been focused on for a whole year. You want to say that I'm into lust? Excuse you? When I'm someone who's disciplined, I have self-control. I'm not in with that nonsense. Huh? How many times have I bashed all those outdated thought forms? Remember the beta, sigma, all that nonsense that got factually checked? Like, come on now. But this is what happens when females talk reckless. And we've seen too many cases. And this is a space to open up discussion in regards to this. You know what I mean? Don't judge people because they're going through a momentary moment of weakness. I do not like people like that. That are just demonized, vulnerable people that just need a constructive nudge. I don't like that. When I was younger, I didn't have all the information I have now. So when we was in high school, and some people would talk all sorts of nonsense in regards to that and blah blah blah, like hentai, blah blah blah. How were they doing in regards to the development? These are the people I have in mind. You can't blame them. Why don't you try to help them in some way so that they will not be a problem to themselves or others? Huh? And this is the thing. Weak people cannot talk. And it's time for strong people, constructive co-creators, to really put these sort of nasty people in their place. And that's just what's happening. As we have this discussion, and to the viewers, you can add your puzzle pieces and constructively expand the information, the valuable information that has been provided so far, so that we can address this, you know? Because how many people are going to end up perishing because no one was there to give them a constructive nudge? Bro, I'm someone. Did I not spend $600 on Genshin, something I don't even like that? Did I not spend $600 plus, actually $700+ to literally just make a space where I can talk to these kids? And I literally like days ago tell you, yo, I want to make different avenues so I can reach different people to help them in their development. There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. I'm putting this at the beginning of the video as we get into this. Enough has been said. I'm gonna finish reading what I had said. As said earlier, the situation happened because of you disrespecting the people that are interested in that hentai stuff that simply need help to strengthen their brain development, and that will be done through all the series being built up. The more minds empowered, the more minds that won't be affected by propaganda energetic pairs that have been using to cause vulnerable minds to fight amongst themselves. When the collective is empowered, the energetic pairs cannot feed off of the carnage and cannot feed off of the vulnerable minds. I basically summarized the energetic parasites and how they can't survive without corruption. What happens when they become too weakened? They flee from planets and desperately go to vulnerable planets where there's collectives of souls. Souls travel to all planets, even right now, even today. Souls have entered this planet, and souls do what they always do. So what? Like, how are people? Like, man, some people are just so disconnected at a molecular level, at a cosmic level. It's sad because it's just so much information around, just waiting for you to tap into it. It's just unfortunate. Not enough people are using their brains. That is extremely observable. If you see souls arriving on this planet, then guess what? Souls arrive on every other planet. Energy appears as fleet of vulnerable planets where the collectives of souls are not developed enough, and that's the only place they can go to, where then they desperately do their rinse and repeat navigational patterns and their rinse and repeat outdated limited psychology, all that nonsense. It's too visible. People can see the planetary history. Not going to get into that. Not going to get too into that. People can find the information. If you're doing genuine research, you will re-find the information. And you have to comprehend who's for you, and you have to comprehend what's been really going on the planet. What's been really going on the planet. Don't ever ignorantly judge the person that's been giving you help and money. So when it comes to my character and who I am, you cannot believe some scumbag that's just having brief physical relations with you, because that scumbag does not know me. And obviously that scumbag is the one sitting on his ass and not actually doing something to boost the quality of life. I have too many responsibilities to deal with your misconception. And I went about saying this. With all of that tight to clear up your confusion, I'm tired. Can we go back to how it was and you just complete the one agreement so we can move forward with the Webtoon portion for the youth and young adults? And I showed her all the proof, and I showed her just damn near everything. That I have her lined up. You get what I mean? So we're going to see what she's going to say. Hopefully, if she uses her brain, she's going to make the correct decision to apologize and take the consequence that's been given for obvious reasons. I've been paying you for a whole year to make safe for work content. The only reason that I told you, and I went about punishing you and told you you're going to pay the consequences of making one NSFW piece, is to break that misconception you have trying to judge other people that are going through issues like that. Because yes, we all know hentai causes damage, brain damage. It stumps the development of people, of children, teenagers, younger. So it is a huge factor that contributes to the damages occurring on the planet. Yes, I'm very aware. So if you, brother, and you've known me the longest, if you know I'm against that shit, and I told her from the get-go, I have numerous series that interconnect. If I make the choice to work on an NSFW one-shot, and the punishment has been made to punish her, and to cause souls that find that content, if they are in that lower state of thought, in those carnal thought forms, and they go through that content, guess what? They're going to want to go check out all the other series that this particular being has. So when they find all the other series, guess what happens? Those series help their brain development. And if I'm making the choice, I'm someone that dislikes that nonsense, and I'm making the choice to try to help those people, why the fuck is she trying to judge? Ignorantly. Just like just like she has read for a whole year chapters of the Takumi stuff that has had no hentai, no fucking NSFW stuff, and has been written to cause her to visualize. Yes, when you read something that is related to hentai, yes, you're gonna have to visualize. Yes, and by the way, you were told what's in that document. Why would you press that document if you were already warned about the document, number one? And two, and that consequence is because you talked reckless against those sort of people we've been trying to help.